I seen the board go up to like 0.6. So then I didn't look again. I was like, you've got 0.6. You've got 3 laps left. Just go as fast as you can till you see the checkered flag and everyone doing that on the pit wall.
Hello YouTube, welcome back to another video. This week is another Mac chat. I interviewed Kyle Ryde earlier today, and Kyle is a great kid. I've known him for a lot of years. He recently won 2 British Superbike races, so he's had an amazing start to the year, and I thought it'd be cool to catch up with him. So I basically reflected back on his career today, because it's not been an easy road for him to get to this point, and we went through his racing career to where he is now and how it led him to win 2 British Superbike races. So it was a good interview and I hope you enjoy it. So I'll get him on the phone now. Kyle,
Yo.
basically I want to go back to the start, because you obviously had a fantastic weekend at Silverstone. You're now a double BSB race winner.
Yep.
But I know that your journey to that point hasn't been an easy one, as it isn't really for any bike racer at a top level. So I just want to go back really and go all the way through your career and how it's led you to become a British Superbike race winner. So the first time I ever heard your name mentioned was when I think I was in the Red Bull Rookies at the time with a lad called Harry Stafford. And I always remember Harry Stafford's dad Roy talking about some kid called Kyle Ryde who was in Spain racing Metro kits. Did you start on mini motos before you started on Metro kits?
Yeah, I started 2004, I think, on mini motos. Basically just went to Spain with my dad, because I think one of his friends did it, and I think me and Brad Ray literally did it the same day. We both started literally on the same day in Spain, so that was a long time ago.
How old were you in 2004?
I think I was 6 or 7.
Right, so you're very young then.
Yeah.
And were you racing mini motos in England before that, or were you just straight to Spain?
Yeah, so I'd only ever been on like a car park at my dad's work, and then it was just random that we went to this Benidorm, the Benidorm track at Finisterre, I think it is.
Yeah.
We went there for the first time, and as soon as I went out of the pit lane, I flipped it, and I was like, nah, not for me, Dad. Not doing it anymore. But I soon come round about 20 minutes later and got back on it, and when we got back, that's when me and Brad entered the Fab Racing Mini Moto Championship. I didn't know Brad at the time, but my first day with like a novice bib on was Brad's first day as well, and we both finished second last and last together, so very strange, but I think that was 2004.
Right. And then when you were racing Metro kits in Spain, was there any other names other than Brad that was racing then?
Yeah, so you'll know yourself, but there's a lot of people that have gone on and that are now in GPs that we used to race with, and if not beat, especially Brad on the Metro kits. Brad was very, very fast on the Metro kits. But for example, there was Jorge Martin, I think. There was Maria Herrera. I know Fabio did a few races. Javi Vieje. There was Marcos Ramirez, Andrea Migno. There was loads and loads of Spanish kids that have obviously not made it, and obviously most of them have made it. So it was just I think me and Brad was the only Brits there really. So we did it with me, my dad, and Kevin, Brad. We all just went out in the same motorhome together, watching Max and Paddy on the way. Raced Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I think Brad got a couple of podiums. I had a couple of front row starts, and didn't really get anything from it really. It was just the fact that there was nothing really else to do. So after that, it was just going back to England really.
Yeah, I think back then as well, that was, well, when I first started racing, all I saw was Scott Redding in Spain, and he was sort of the kid to copy. And there's a lot of kids back then that's the route they went, mini motos, Metro kits, and it seems to, well, they're still using that route now, and it still works.
Yeah, I think the bikes that people are on are the ones that we raced on. They just keep getting refreshed. All the frames are still battered and duct taped up, but they obviously work, and they obviously help kids to progress. So, I think they've been around for a good 15 years now, aren't they, doing it properly?
Yeah. And then from there you moved to, well, did you come back from Spain to do the 125 Championship in Britain?
Yeah, I did. I got a special, not licence, but a special something that I had an 80cc engine in an RS125. I couldn't go into BSB 125 because I was 12, but the plan was I was going to ride for Ryan the next year, which I did. So my dad come up with the idea to buy RS125, take the engine out, put an 80cc engine in it, just so I got used to the chassis really.
Yeah.
And we did a few Thundersport meetings there, finishing like 4th or 5th behind Jake Dixon and that, with some poxy little leathers on. And that's from there on, obviously, it got me really used to the bike. And then in November, I had to go on Ryan Sachs of his 125. And then 2011, obviously, I rode for him in the Sunoco British 125, whatever it was.
And did you win it that year? Was that your first year?
Yeah, that was my first ever title I'd ever won with Ryan. And then obviously, as you know, you do something pretty decent in England and you get opportunities around the world. And I had an opportunity I had obviously Red Bull Rookies the same year as that year. And then I got an opportunity to go with obviously KRP in Spanish Championship. And that obviously, not obviously, but for me, it never worked out. Didn't really like everything that was going on with it. I never thought the bike was really good enough, but I always thought that we was riding, if not riding as hard as anyone else. But no, it's all experience, I think. I don't think I'd be the rider I am now if I didn't go through them odd years in 2012 and 13.
For people that don't know, how do you go about getting picked for the Red Bull Rookie Cup?
So there's a tryouts, obviously you know, I know, and it's more, I think at the time when you're 11, 12, it's more of your dad's dream instead of your dream. So being 11 years old, I didn't have a Scooby-Doo about Red Bull Rookies. I'd obviously heard about it, but your dad tells you that Danny Kent's been in it and look where he is and all the other names that have been in it, and you're like, yeah, I want to do it. So you basically send a form out on your laptop, or you apply to get into the test, whatever it is. So obviously some people don't even get allowed to go to the test. There must be millions of people that apply for it, but the people that do get applied every year, obviously you turn up in Spain and it's like a 3-day test. If obviously you're useless on the first day, they tell you to go home, and if they think you've got potential, they keep you for the second day, and then after the second day you ride your heart out, and then they say if they want to keep you or not. So there's a lot of tears going about. But I was just overwhelmed really at the time. You think that big things are going to happen, and it's just experience, and it's good for your health and your confidence. And I loved it. I didn't really do very well in it, but I loved every race I went to. I think towards the end of the second year, I think I was quite lucky that they said no. I really wanted to go back for a third year, but I'm glad I didn't, because I got away from it and I focused on being in Britain then, and I obviously enjoyed that.
I think there's two things about Red Bull Rookies that I think is quite funny. When you send your application form, because as you said, anyone can apply, can't they? No matter who you are. Some people haven't even ridden a bike before and they apply. But on that form, you have to put down your parents' height and weight and lots of little weird things like that. And those kids get rejected purely on the fact that their dad's 7 foot and they've got a big mum. And it's literally, it's down to stupid things like that they're looking for the best of the best in the world, and they're only interested in making world champions, and they pick it off that. And then the second thing with Red Bull Rookies is when you do your tryout on the day at night, I just thought it was like the X Factor auditions where you just sat in a room with kids screaming and crying everywhere, parents crying as well alongside it. But
because obviously the parents obviously had to pay and have time off work to do it.
Yeah.
At the time at 11, you think, oh, we're just going out to ride a bike, but it probably cost them over £1,000 in work, and don't realise it till now. I'm like 23. You realise how much they actually did for you at the time, but as you said, it was completely mental when you get there. These kids there that are very talented on a bike, but they was like straight to the burger van at lunch, and then obviously they pick up on that and they say you're not coming back for that reason. And as you said, people that was 6'5", they'd be like the fastest man there by 2.5 seconds, but they'd be like, you're not the man for us. So in some eyes it does look a little bit fixed, but as you said, most likely they're not going to be Mark Marquez being 6'7", are they, at 12 years old? So
no. I always, the year I did it, there was a kid turned up in a Monster Energy top as well. That didn't go down well. Probably not the smartest move coming in a Monster top. So that were good times, Rebel Rookies. And the biggest thing as well, the reason the parents are crying is it's a year's free racing. So at that point, when it's so expensive, the best opportunity you can get is a 3 years racing. So yeah, but it works for some people and doesn't work for others. So you came back from the Red Bull Rookies and then you started racing in Stock 600. Yeah. So you won the British 125 class in your first year. Did you win the Stock 600 in your first year as well?
Yeah, 2014, yeah.
And what bike was that on then?
That was on an R6 with CF Motorsport. So obviously that was the same bike that I rode in 2015, just moved up a class. But I enjoyed that year, not mostly because it was something different. It was more the fact I got drilled that much in 2013 by the team I was with that I wasn't good enough to do it. It was just a bit of a kick in the knackers, really. In 2013, it was like, I'm not really good enough to even do anything. And we come up with the idea of doing that, and Craig gave me the opportunity to do the Stock 6. And we got some sponsors together to pay for the ride. In my eyes, it probably was one of the 3 best bikes on the grid. I think at the time it was really me and Andy Reid that had the best bikes, most consistent. And yeah, as soon as I won a race, I think it was at Snet, first race, 3rd round in, I thought, you know what, I can actually do it. Just obviously last year didn't work out. And at that moment, I thought, you know, as you tell yourself, you come back, you're happy. Like, you know, with Stock 1000, you're like, right, I'm staying here for the rest of my life. I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah.
I know the tracks. If I can stay here, I'm staying here. But obviously you do something really well on another bike and then all of a sudden floods open again and you go elsewhere, and then sometimes you think, bloody hell, wish I'd have not done that. Wish I'd have just stuck by my guns and said, I'm staying here. Wait, hold on, someone's at the door.
That's right. I need to check this camera anyway.
Hello.
Hi, it's only me. Will you do me a big favour?
What's up?
Will you just check round, see if you can see our cat?
Right, okay.
It's gone missing.
It's gone missing.
Yeah.
I'll never come back.
Last night there were fox about. I saw it on camera, so I don't know whether
Had
that's
it.
scared or had it.
We've had a bit of a technical issue in the middle of this video, so I'll just restart the video with where we are now. Kyle's been killing cats in his back garden, and it's all caught up with him. Right, so you've had a few good years where you've won championships, but then you got to the point in, was it 2018?
Yeah.
Where you basically packed it in. What went through your mind at that point?
Yeah, that was it. Like I said, we spent a lot of money in three meetings and not really got anywhere. I think at Snetterton, I did like a 50 flat, and I was like, I'm literally half a tenth quicker on this than I was on my super sport bike. I'm like, what am I doing? And I'd not really crashed or anything. It was just, as you know, sometimes your confidence ain't great, and I actually felt quite good on the bike. I think Alton Park, I did like I think I followed you actually. You just broke a 34 and you was like 3rd, I think. And I'd done a 35-2 and I was like 17th. I was like, you serious? But
this is in British Superbikes, this is, isn't it?
Yeah. I think you was on the Moto Rapido bike,
yeah,
weren't you?
That's right.
And obviously at the time, not been doing great. And then all of a sudden, I'd looked from past years and I'm like, seeing lap times, and I seen on my dash 35-2, and I'm expecting to come in and being like 8th or something, and I was 17th, and my head fell off again for like the 5th time. But looking back on it now, it was actually a really good lap time to say that it was a rookie year, and I think I beat myself up a little bit for being 17th at the time. And then obviously in the race, I got a good start, and I was following your brother, and obviously he'd been riding his bike for a year. And I was following him and I'm thinking, I'm learning a bit here. And then I folded the front at Druids and the bike went through the trees and I was like, oh my God. But that, obviously, I'd had enough. My family had had enough. It wasn't just me. I could see it in their faces, and that was like half the battle.
Yeah.
And it really hurt me knowing that they was completely sick of like finding sponsors and doing the same thing every year and not getting anywhere. So I think the best thing I ever did really was have a few months off, and then we'll come to an agreement. You'll know, is it Phil Styles used to work for Mark Dean? Yeah. He basically worked in the GP paddock, and he bought loads of like second-hand bits or crashed bits from Moto2 bikes, and he actually built 2 bikes up himself. And towards the end of the year, we hired it out each weekend, and me and my dad just went racing, and we had no data, no nothing. I just thought the engine's completely like 122 horsepower Honda engine. Can't be that bad. As long as we keep, someone paid for the tyres for me, and we just literally kept going in the van. I had a few rubbish weekends because obviously I struggled setting it up with me and my dad, but we learned a lot, and it got us a ride obviously next year, the year after, with Ryan on the same bike basically, and history's like, well, I don't know what to say, but from then on it's been mint. I've not really had a not confident weekend in like a full 24 months, so it's really strange, but as you know, it sometimes you have a bad weekend, sometimes you have a bad year or 3, and then all of a sudden you're like on the roll, on the ball for like 6 years non-stop.
Yeah.
No matter what bike you get on, it's like, I'll ride that, and you just know you're going to be there or thereabouts because you're confident. So, but
I think that's the easy thing, or the thing that happens in British Superbikes is you don't have to be far off, and you look so average all of a sudden.
Yeah.
And it's just such a competitive class, and there's so many. If you look at any result sheet, there's so many people who've won races in that class, and sometimes race winners don't even score points when it's just the nature of the championship. There's so many good riders in it, and so many good bikes and teams that it just works out like that. When you so you raced in the GP2 class last year, and then you signed to do, well, actually you came and did a stock 1,000 round, didn't you? And you clicked straight away with that. I was sweating because I got enough competition in coupes. The last thing I needed was another lad that was fast on another one of those bikes. At that point, you clicked with the stock 1,000 bike. Who or how did it come about that you then rode the superbike?
So obviously I'm good friends with coupes, so I'd ride my own bike, and then obviously when he was out, I'd go to the box. You know, it is when you're a young kid and you see 2 superbikes, you see a big pit garage, you think, oh, I wish I had that one day. So you're always mingling around. You can see Steve and Stuart thinking, what's he doing here again? but I think they come to understand that I was a good friend of Coops, and it was like good for each other really. We stayed in the same caravan, so I was just in there supporting him. And then after I'd won the GP2 class at Alton Park, Steve said, you can ride it at Donington if you want, but he really wanted me to not do the GP2 class. But with all my sponsors, and obviously being Donington, they've been waiting, everyone around here has been waiting all year to see me ride my bike at Donington and hopefully win. I had to say to Steve, I'll do stock 1,000 at Donington and Brands, but I really want to ride my GP2 bike as well at Donington, just for all my family and etc. But I never got to do a race because in qualifying, unfortunately, I got tangled up with Ben Godfrey, and I broke my wrist, and that was it for the rest of the season. So, but yeah, when I had a cast on, it just came about. Steve wanted a meeting. He must have seen I did all right at Donington. Whatever I did, I gelled quite quickly. Like you said, it was unfortunate that I crashed, but he said he wanted me to ride the superbike this year, and from then onwards, I've been very confident, just because it's nice knowing that someone wants you and willing to like spend money and take a chance on you. It gave me a lot of confidence, so can't thank them enough really.
And when you got on a superbike, was it different to when you first got on a superbike 2 years before that?
So I says to Steve, so it's completely different. Obviously, in nature, that bike is faster than an R1 anyway, and you're going off that as I'm going off that as being Taz's and Jason's bike. Like my bike now is a bit quicker than their bikes. So when I rode the R1 in 2018, that would have been nowhere near as fast as Taz and Jason's bike, and I was learning at the same time. So even when I rode the stocker at Donington, I said to Steve, this thing's faster than my R1 that I had. So that was like a superbike. So then when I did actually get on the superbike, I was like, bloody hell, this thing's fast, as you know. And it did take a few days, if not, I don't know. But we went to Spain, and it got rained off. I was like, bloody hell, I'm going to be on the back foot here. But luckily, the Bill Bay Suzuki team, as you know, has got Mallory Park right next to them. And I rode quite a few times there to get used to the bike. And yeah, can't fault it.
Gelled with it straight away. It's good.
Yeah.
And so then you came into the British Superbikes this year. You've had unfortunate luck really the first couple of rounds, and then it all sort of came together at Silverstone. When you started, we had a podium in the first race behind, I've never heard of him, some other rider. And then the second race, it was the second race, yeah, that you then were leading the race. At that point when you were leading it, what was going through your head?
So the first race, the first one that I won, I wasn't really thinking anything. I was just ticking the laps off. And the best person on the grid, I think, to follow and ticking laps off is like Josh Brooks. It's so nice to follow Josh. It was like at ease, and he was just doing all the right things to save the tyre and everything. So I seen like 20 laps to go, and I just thought, right, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing, tick another 10 off, keep looking at my pit board, and I seen that my dad kept putting G2, so obviously there was two people with us, and I heard it was an R1, so I didn't know if it was Taz or Jason, but I know they're both very smooth riders at the same time, so they'd have been doing exactly what I was doing, is in saving tyre. And then I think 10 laps to go, I seen Josh having a few little moments, and he was struggling to stop it in a few places, like the rear tyre had gone. And I just thought, I don't know if I can win it, because I know that the person behind me is as fast as me, and if not, can pass Josh as well. But I just tried to work it out as if I passed Josh at turn 1 and put my fastest lap in, maybe they'd have a bit of a ding-dong, and maybe I'd get off a second, I don't know, because I really didn't know if it was Taz or Jason, or how fast it was going to be. And I think my first lap on my own, I did a 53.3, and I seen the board go up to like 0.6, so then I didn't look again. I was like, you've got 0.6, you've got 3 laps left, just go as fast as you can till you see the checkered flag and everyone doing that on the pit wall. And did that, and then when I come in, I think it was 1.5 seconds, so it was weird. I knew I could do it at that point. If you asked me about the second race, that was different. That was completely loads more stuff going on in my head. But the first one was very strange. Obviously, I seen Taz run on, so I was taking the chance of, if it wasn't in, if you're going to win a race, you're going to have to do it in this one, because Taz has just ran wide, and he was the one that had the pace yesterday and had the tyre at the end. So it was weird. It was almost a very long race. Seen 20 laps on my board, and I thought, bloody hell, I felt like I've done at least half race distance. But then I got into a nice rhythm behind Josh, and before I knew it, I think I seen like 8 laps to go, and I thought, bloody hell, I'm going to have to do something here. So, yeah, it was on the telly. It looked like I worked it out very smartly, but I wasn't. I was trying very hard, and last 3 laps, it was very strange, but the second one meant a lot more.
Now, really, Glenn Irwin's leading the championship. He's got 35 points on everyone else. But after that, it's quite close, really. Yeah. Have you got any ambitions for the rest of the year? What's your plan for the rest of the year?
Well, when Brad come to the team, Brad steadied away, and then towards the end, obviously got a podium at Alton Park. And I just wanted to follow that footsteps, because obviously Brad did amazing for himself, probably still will do. And I just wanted to do that, really. But I've gelled that good with the bike, and I feel that good with it. I'd have been gutted at Silverstone if I'd not got a podium.
Yeah.
But I think on Saturday when I finished behind Taz, I said to Taz, look, that was like a win for me anyway. So I didn't treat it as my first podium. It was like a win, because I think at Donington, the first race, when one of the Hondas flicked a stone up at the radiator, I had to pull in, I thought that could have been an easy 16 points and a trophy. But like you said, I'm 4th in the championship. Really didn't expect it. The only thing I'm thinking now is, if I'd have not had any of them problems at Donington, or when one of the sensors broke at Snare, I'm thinking in my head maybe I'd only been about 5 points behind Glenn Irwin. But
yeah.
It is what it is. I mean, loads of people's crashed, some people's broke down, but obviously Glenn's at the weekend, he extended his championship lead, didn't he? And he finished 4th 3 times, so he's obviously being consistent. And I think we spoke to a few people at the start of the year, and it's either going to be someone that's absolutely crazy that's going to win the championship, or it's going to be someone that keeps finishing 4th. I said that at the start, so I think everyone's going to be chasing him, obviously, now. He's got something on his back I need to chase because it's 35 points. I think Alton will be definitely hard for me compared to Silverstone. Obviously, it's not so much a saving tyre track, is it? It's like 18 odd laps with chicanes, and it's going to be tough. But I think after that, Donington and Brands, I think I should be able to do the same as what I did at Silverstone, pace-wise. Not saying I'm going to go there and win. I just want to be in the group. As long as I'm in the group, and I think I'm doing all right.
Good lad. Well, I think you've got every chance. And you can keep beating Taz. It doesn't bother me if you beat Taz. Keeps him quiet.
I'm going to lose to anyone, though. It's got to be Taz. No one else.
Yeah, you and Taz have had quite a few battles over the years, haven't you? You've ended up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was more annoyed. I think 2015, 2016. I know I went to World Supersport, but I had offers to ride in BSB, like what Taz got the year after. And thinking about it now, I wish I'd have done it, because you see people like Jason, they've been in that paddock for like 10 years, jumping ship, different bikes, but they've always been fast, and they've got that much experience. Doesn't matter what bike they get on, they're always fast. So after the path that I've had, I wish I'd have just jumped on a superbike when I was 16, 17 and gritted my teeth. But at the end of the day, some people in that paddock have never been to World Supersport, and so I think it swings in roundabouts, really.
Yeah, you've got to take. You don't know at the time, do you? You have to take these chances, because you only get them once. There's no second chance. So
first thing you think is maybe I could become world champion in World Supersport. So you're going to do it.
Yeah.
But obviously, if I'd have not got that, I think I'd have been in British Superbike and probably still been there now. But my plan is to try and stay in the paddock now and not clear off and have a rubbish year somewhere else.
No, I'm sure you will. And that'll do for that, Kyle. Thank you very much. I'm excited for the rest of the season for you. Hope you have a good end to the year. And you can slow down a bit if you want. You don't need to keep going that fast. It's fine by me. All right. I'll talk to you soon, mate.
In a bit.
Wicked. Cheers for that, Kyle.
Right.
In a bit.
In a bit.
Bye-bye. I hope you enjoyed that chat with Kyle. I've mainly been outside today because I've had 44 Teeth here, who I'm sure most of you have seen their YouTube channel. They've got a great YouTube channel, and we've been doing a lot of riding in the back garden. Mad Mark's paid them a visit, so I'll have that video out very soon, I'm sure. But for now, if you enjoyed it, please like the video and subscribe to the channel, and I'll be back very soon. Bye for now.